The unbelievably lucky life of Timothy Dexter, America's accidental millionaire. Let me tell you a story. A story so wildly improbable, so ridiculously fortunate, and so unapologetically American that if it were pitched as a movie script, even Hollywood might say, nah, too unrealistic. But every twist, every accidental triumph, every utterly baffling decision in this tale is 100% true. This is the outrageous, jaw-dropping saga of Timothy Dexter, a man who fumbled and flailed his way into wealth, fame, and infamy, while most of the world stood back in stunned disbelief, waiting for him to finally fall flat on his face. And he didn't. Born in 1747 in the small town of Malden, Massachusetts, Dexter was not handed any sort of advantage. No family fortune, no elite education, no powerful connections. He had none of the things typically associated with success in early America. What he did have was an almost supernatural level of confidence, a strange magnetism, and a deep-rooted belief that he was destined for greatness, even if no one else thought so. As a child, he dropped out of school and began learning the trade of a leather worker. While others might have found comfort in a steady job, Dexter had bigger visions. Big, chaotic, and barely formed, but big nonetheless. And so began a life defined not by careful planning or education, but by chance, absurdity, and an ironclad refusal to quit. Like many ambitious men of humble beginnings in that era, Dexter sought a shortcut to financial stability and found it by marrying a wealthy widow. Somehow, despite his eccentricities, he convinced her to tie the knot. Almost overnight, Timothy Dexter went from a lowly apprentice to a man with money, and more importantly, the confidence to use it recklessly. It was around the time of the American Revolution, and the colonies were rife with uncertainty. While cautious minds hesitated, Dexter dove in headfirst. He started buying up massive quantities of continental currency, which was widely considered worthless at the time. People mocked him. Some even pitied him. They believed he had just torched his newfound fortune. But Dexter, whether through ignorance or genius, held on to the currency. Then fate, as it often did in Dexter's life, flipped the script. After the war ended, the fledgling United States decided to honor the currency. That trash paper turned into real money. And Dexter, overnight, became a very rich man. He had just stumbled his way into a fortune. It was the first of many times Timothy Dexter would win big by doing something that looked utterly foolish to everyone else. But wealth didn't bring humility. It brought boldness. And for Dexter, boldness looked a lot like madness. Instead of seeking guidance, he went all in on his own instincts. He decided to become a shipping magnate and businessman, despite having zero relevant experience. He didn't read market trends. He didn't consult experts. He just did what felt right. And miraculously, it kept working. Those around him, particularly his so-called friends, were baffled and annoyed by his success. They began feeding him terrible business advice on purpose, hoping to see him crash and burn. It became a game to them, a cruel kind of entertainment. They made him a suggestion. Ship bed warmers. Those copper pans filled with hot coals. But to the Caribbean, a region known more for heat than cold. It was absurd. But Dexter didn't question it. He sent them. And wouldn't you know it, they sold. Plantation workers used them to ladle molasses. Once again, Dexter laughed his way to the bank. Still undeterred, his mockers suggested he send coal to Newcastle, England, a city so synonymous with coal that the idea was literally a joke. Yet when Dexter's shipment arrived, the city was in the middle of a miners' strike. There was a coal shortage. He sold every last bit, at a profit. Then came cats. Stray cats, to be precise. Dexter shipped them to Caribbean islands overrun with rats. They sold immediately at a good price. And he helped them. He even sent Bibles to the East Indies, thinking, or not thinking, that maybe someone there might want them. And they sold too. No logic, no planning, just pure dumb, blindingly good luck. Dexter didn't just ignore conventional wisdom. He ran in the opposite direction. And every time he did, the universe seemed to give him a thumbs up. He was like a glitch in the fabric of capitalism, living contradiction who won big by losing sensibly. He became so enamored with his success that he started calling himself Lord Timothy Dexter. Despite having no noble title, no lineage, and absolutely no authorization to do so. He built a sprawling estate in Newburyport, Massachusetts, and filled the front lawn with dozens of massive wooden statues of great men: George Washington, Napoleon Bonaparte, and, of course, a glorified statue of himself, standing tall among them like he belonged in the history books. But Dexter wasn't done just being Dexter. One day, he decided to fake his own death. He wanted to see how people would react. He wanted to know who would cry. He threw a full mock funeral, complete with elaborate arrangements and hired mourners. He watched from a distance. When his wife didn't grieve the way he expected, he allegedly confronted her, and in a darker turn, he physically assaulted her. It was a glimpse into the ugly side of a man whose luck didn't always come with kindness. Still, his chaotic legacy rolled forward. He decided the next logical step was to become a writer. He penned a book titled A Pickle for the Knowing Ones, calling it a book is generous. It had no punctuation, nonsensical spelling, and read like a manic stream of consciousness. Critics loathed it. The public, they loved it. It became a bestseller. Readers found joy in the madness, and Dexter, in his second edition, included a page full of punctuation marks, instructing readers to sprinkle them into the text wherever they saw fit. In a sense, Dexter was a man born centuries too early. His antics mirrored the behavior of modern-day internet personalities. He lived loudly, loved chaos, and didn't seem to care one bit about what people thought of him. He was bizarre, meme-worthy before memes existed, and totally unfiltered. Despite his seeming ignorance and frequent stumbles, Dexter died wealthy in 1806. He never lost it all. The man who made all the wrong moves, all the wrong investments, and ignored every reasonable suggestion somehow ended up on top. So what can we really take away from Timothy Dexter's outrageous life? Timothy Dexter is proof that success isn't always earned the way we expect. It's not always about intelligence or discipline. Sometimes it's about boldness, timing, and the kind of ridiculous luck that can't be explained. He failed upward with spectacular style. Every time someone tried to sabotage him, he found a way to profit. He wasn't brilliant, but he was fearless. He didn't wait for approval. He just acted. He turned ridicule into revenue. He made fortune out of failure. And whether by luck or some divine joke, he became unforgettable. If you've ever felt like an underdog, like you don't know what you're doing, or that the world is stacked against you, just remember Timothy Dexter. He didn't have a plan, but he had audacity. He didn't have credentials, but he had guts. And sometimes that's enough. This is the key takeaways from the life of Lord Timothy Dexter. Born with nothing, married into money and made it more, bought worthless currency, became rich when it gained value, sent bed warmers to the tropics, and they were sold, shipped coal to a coal town, sold during a strike, turned stray cats into Caribbean exports, sold Bibles in regions with no obvious market, and succeeded, faked his own death, and judged reactions harshly, wrote a chaotic, unpunctuated book, and people loved it. He built a mansion filled with wooden statues, including one of himself, called himself a lord, and no one could stop him. Failed upward like it was his full-time job. These are just some final thoughts. Timothy Dexter wasn't polished. He wasn't educated. He wasn't even kind. But he was daring. He was wildly, comically, and consistently bold. In a world that worships order and expertise, he stood as a chaotic reminder that sometimes being completely ridiculous is exactly what gets you remembered. He played life like a pinball machine, bouncing erratically from one strange idea to the next, hitting every bumper, setting off every light, and somehow walking away with a high score. More than 2 centuries later, we're still laughing, still marveling, and still trying to understand how Timothy Dexter, of all people, won his own game of luck in life. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider subscribing, leaving a like, and dropping a comment below. And if you'd like to support the channel even further, you can follow me on TikTok and Instagram for more content like this, and you can find my other social media in the description below. See you in the next video.